Merodach mourned over the doom pronounced against his city, and apparently with some effect, for after a good many broken and lost lines, the tablet goes on to describe the dispatch of the terrible plague god to Erech, the seat of Anu and Ishtar, the city of the choirs, of the festival makers, and consecrated maidens of Ishtar, who dreaded death. For the nomad Zuti of the desert had combined against their state. The eunuch priests were now compelled to bow their face before another deity other than the peaceful Ishtar, who cried and was troubled over the city of Erech. Eventually, however, Nerra was quieted by Ishum, his counselor, the illustrious god who goes before him, and the warrior Nerra spoke this: Sea land against sea land, Zumasti against Zumasti, the Assyrian against the Assyrian, the Elamite against the Elamite, the Koreshian against the Koreshian, the Kurd against the Kurd, the Lullabite against the Lullabite, country against country, house against house, man against man, brother against brother. Let them destroy one another, and afterwards let the Akkadian come and slay them all, and fall upon their breasts. The warrior Nerra further addresses a speech to Ishum, who goes before him. Go, Ishum, incline all thy heart to the word thou hast spoken. Then Ishum sets his face towards the land of the west. The 7 warrior gods, unequaled, sweep all things away behind him. We are told, but do we listen? At the land of Phoenicia, at the mountains, the warrior arrived. He lifted up the hand. He laid it on the mountain of Phoenicia. He counted as his own soil. In thus marching to the west, the minister of the Babylonian god of death approaches the country in which another angel of pestilence was seen by the king of Israel, by the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusit. David had beheld the angel of the Lord, stretching out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it. As in Babylon, so too in Israel, the plague had been a visitation for the sins of man. It was the instrument of God's anger, wielded by the hands of his angel minister. That same angel minister had once before stood before Balaam, and with a drawn sword in his hand had threatened the Syrian prophet with death. Do not forget, the Ashipu author is a plague expert. The Azu. Professor Sayce continues. He was not the demon of the lower world, like the old Chaldean god Namtar. He was not the inevitable law of destiny, before whom even the gods had to submit their wills, but a member of the celestial hierarchy, the messenger of a beneficent God. He came to destroy, but it was to destroy the guilty. That's all well and good if it were true, but history tells another story. Where was the angel when people needed him? The construct of God as a protector comes from another source. Well said. But to see God as a protector causes conflict and leads to sin. For example, where was God when people needed him? A question which could lead to lamentation, the pain of loss, both physical and mental. It is said that the sins of man, and not the malevolence or passionless law of a supernatural being, brought death and suffering into the world. The Babylonian legend of Nerra, like the records of the Old Testament, tells the same tale as the Babylonian story of the deluge. Sayce's writings and arguments in defending many of the aspects of biblical record from its skeptics were incorporated into later works, meaning the word of Sayce is now in the Bible. Nerra is Nergal, the burner. Where there is smoke, there is fire. The angel of the Lord, Daniel 3:25. He answered and said, "But I see 4 men unbound, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods." Every moment in which the Bible speaks about a being inside of the fire, it is in connection with the angel of the Lord, not God himself. I've said that for a very long time, and it is actually agreed upon. In Exodus 3:2, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in the flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed." Judges 3:20. "And when the flame went up toward heaven from the altar, the angel of the Lord went up in the flame of the altar. Now Manoah and his wife were watching, and they fell on their faces to the ground." The angel of the Lord is seen in the flame of a sacrifice. The book of Malachi is the final chapter, the Omega of the Old Testament. There were 4 figures in the fire. The book of Malachi is the precursor to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. According to the book of Malachi, the angel of the Lord feeds on the loss of innocent life. Why does he not ask for the guilty? because it is the father of tears, and the Book of Malachi is a lamentation rite. Chicken or the egg? The angel was originally the cherub, and originated in ancient Babylon, the location where demons were born. The Book of Malachi, coming soon to Ancient Mystery.